Trump voters are leaving him. They're turning against him at a key and pivotal moment, and you know we love highlighting their stories here on the MeidasTouch network. Meet Dave, a two-time Trump voter who explains why he's supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. Play the clip.
I voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. Now, for the first time in my life, I'm voting for a Democrat. And the reason for that all started on January 6th when Trump tried to overthrow the government. I don't agree with everything that the Democrats want to do, but I know they don't want to overthrow the government. And it's really that simple. I believe in my democracy. I believe in my country. And it's country over party.
Special hat tip to our friends at Republican Voters Against Trump who highlight these incredible stories. Like this story right here. Norma right here, also a two-time Trump voter, explaining why she's now supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. Play this clip.
My name is Norma. I'm a two-time Trump voter. I will not be voting for Trump this time around. I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I cannot support Trump again because I don't trust him. I feel he's a liar. I feel he's for himself. I feel like he's going to take our country down a really evil, dark path. I want to be on the right side of history, and voting for Trump would be on the wrong side of history.
I've got more for you because these stories are very compelling, and I want you to share these stories as well with friends of yours who may be on the fence. Like, take a look at this. This is Ken, a former Trump voter who has no hesitation about his support right now for Vice President Kamala Harris. Play this clip.
I'm Ken, and I'm a former Trump voter. His disrespect for the military, for the people that serve in the military, and for his incessant lying, his total lack of character, there's no way that I could support him to be president of the United States again. As far as the choice to vote for Kamala Harris, absolute no-brainer. Absolute, total no-brainer. No hesitation from this lifelong Republican whatsoever.
Folks, meet Gary, an ex-Trump voter from Arizona. Here's what he has to say about Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and why he will be supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. Play this clip.
Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, we have a combination that is laden with authoritarian impulses, anti-woman attitudes. I'm Gary. I am from Arizona. I'm a former Trump voter, but in 2024, I will not be voting for Donald Trump. I could not support Donald Trump to be president of the United States or really hold any office again, mainly because while he was in office, when he lost the election, he made a very definite attempt to overthrow the results of that election in a violent way by summoning his mob to the Capitol on January 6th. January 6th was very personal to me, not because I was there, but because I'm a former law enforcement officer, and I watched minutes after minutes of footage of police officers being attacked and injured by these people who seemed to think that they had been directed by Donald Trump to go and do that very thing that they were doing, to destroy property and attack police and fight their way into the Capitol. He has also indicated he intends to pardon a lot of these people who assaulted officers violently. Between Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, we have a combination that is laden with authoritarian impulses, anti-woman attitudes. I cannot imagine really a worse combination of people to be occupying the top two spots in our executive branch. So I'll be happily supporting Kamala Harris in 2024.
We've got more, folks. Meet David, a Republican and former Trump voter, now voting for Vice President Kamala Harris this year. This is why. Play the clip.
The Republican Party with J.D. Vance sits on extremism, sits on exclusion, right? I don't want these women to vote. They have cats and they don't have kids. We only trust women that are barefoot and pregnant and married. My name is David. I'm a former Trump voter. And this year, 2024, I will be voting for Kamala Harris. I will not be voting for Trump. This is the first time, I think, in Republican history that a convicted felon is running our party. A man who's been indicted in a court. A man who puts his own interests in front of other people. An egomaniac, a narcissist, thin-skinned. These are now the qualities of the Republican Party. The Republican Party is thin-skinned. The Republican Party focuses on petty attacks and race and silly memes, retribution against political opponents, violence, right? Republican Party with J.D. Vance sits on extremism, sits on exclusion, right? I don't want these women to vote. They have cats and they don't have kids. We only trust women that are barefoot and pregnant and married. And as fate would have it, my Madam Vice President is there now. She's running a campaign that's successful, momentum, money, poise, and they are on the decline. And we as Republicans, we have to make a choice. What are we going to do? Are we going to help democracy? Are we going to help rule of law and push him out so we can get a better party?
Folks, meet Clint, an ex-Trump voter. Here's what Clint has to say. Play the clip.
I want a better world for my two daughters, and Trump hates women. My name's Clint, and I voted for Trump previously, but I will not be voting for him in the 2024 election. January 6th is what changed it for me. Trump was absolutely responsible for it. Trump is entirely unfit to be president. Seeing his little press conference after Charlottesville and there were very fine people on both sides. And I couldn't even process it at first because I couldn't believe that this man said that. I saw the images of people holding torches, marching, saying Jews will not replace us. And then I see our president out there saying, these are very fine people. And I couldn't believe it. And then I thought about the poor girl who was murdered by these monsters, by these anti-Semites, by these Nazis that Trump was defending. And I thought, her poor family. This is the president of the United States who's come out and has defended the neo-Nazi, sick, disgusting incel jerks who murdered her daughter. It still gets me riled up today that he would defend those torch-wielding Nazis. I want a better world for my two daughters, and Trump hates women. He treats women like garbage. I don't think my daughters will have a better world if Trump is elected. I think that their freedoms will be revoked, and I think it will be a more dangerous place for them with Trump and JD Vance in leadership. And I'll be voting for Kamala Harris in 2024.
Meet Ethan. Ethan from Wisconsin. He's never voted Democrat in his entire life. But let me explain to you why he's supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. Play this clip.
I have no faith that if Donald Trump is let anywhere close to the Oval Office, that he will willingly give up that spot. My name is Ethan. I live in Wisconsin, and I voted for Donald Trump in 2020. January 6th was the end of Donald Trump for me. It made me sick that a president of the United States would actually do that, would call the people to D.C., ask them to march on the Capitol, and then sit there and watch them riot and break into the Capitol. It put people's lives in danger. It put not only congressional people, but police officers, and at the end of the day, military officers' lives in danger. And at the end of the day, I have no faith that if Donald Trump is let anywhere close to the Oval Office, that he will willingly give up that spot once again. In terms of Mike Pence not supporting Donald Trump, I think it's very telling that the person who was presumably one of the closest confidants and advisor to the president, the vice president, is not supporting him in this election. I've never voted for a Democrat before in my life for president. I can't believe I'm left in the position that I have to do that now. I don't think I have any other choice. I disagree with Kamala Harris on probably 98% of her policy positions. I'm voting to keep Donald Trump from stepping foot in the Oval Office again.
Also, Republican voters against Trump. Again, support that group. Okay, they do great work over there. Here they are out with a new ad showing a collection of people who were former Trump voters who are now supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. This is part of a $15 million ad blitz by Republican voters against Trump. Play the clip.
I'm a two-time Trump voter.
I'm a former Trump voter.
And in 2024, I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
Harris is a former prosecutor.
She's smart.
I love her energy.
She will support our democratic institutions.
She will put her country first.
Harris is going to be better for this nation than Trump.
I will be
voting for Kamala Harris.
In 2024, I will be proudly voting for Kamala Harris.
Incredible stuff right there. And look, you know, we've been highlighting these stories here at the MeidasTouch Network now for about 3.5 years. One of the things we've been talking about is the pro-democracy community is made up of liberals, progressives, independents, and real conservatives. Classic Republicans, if you will, or classic conservatives who respect the rule of law, who fight for our democracy, who understand the actual values and principles of our country. And we've come together under a big, broad tent for our democracy to save our country from this MAGA madness. Like, this is what the MAGAs were doing last night. They had their MAGA fashion show. And here's what they did. Play the clip.
What's going on, Long Island? It sounds good, but it's not me. Feel an attack, I suggest just from that. Cause these words are coming back to retract. There's no holding.
Folks, that ain't conservative. It ain't conservative when these MAGAs show up at Trump events wearing diapers to show solidarity with Donald Trump, with diapers over Dems, where they show up with these little kind of medicine vials filled with fake J.D. Vance semen, and they're showing that J.D. Vance's fake semen is in there, little cans. I don't know what the even heck they're doing there, where they show up with shirts that say felon, that they support the felon, or they're rooting for felons, or voters for felons, and they're bragging about that. Or when Donald Trump sends out emails like this and says, "This is the most patriotic flag ever in existence," and it's a flag that has it's like a red MAGA flag, or when Donald Trump puts his name over the American flag, and we just look at that and we go, no, not here in the United States of America. This pro-democracy community is growing. It is going, I think, to be a massive factor when all is said and done in November. Spread these videos, share these stories, and I'll leave you with this one. This is Jeff Flake, former Republican senator from Arizona, very conservative, Jeff Flake. And he's like, this is easy. This is an easy decision. Watch what Jeff Flake has to say. Play the clip.
I'm a conservative Republican who had the honor to serve my home state of Arizona in the United States House of Representatives and in the Senate for nearly 2 decades. I believe that America is a great country. I believe that our best days lie ahead. I want to support a candidate for president who believes the same. I believe that we don't have to agree on every issue or policy, but that we should use the political process created by our founders to debate and to persuade, not disparage or demonize. I want to support a candidate who understands that political opponents are our fellow citizens, the loyal opposition as our parties once knew each other, not the enemy. Having spent the past 3 years overseas as a United States ambassador, I've seen up close that we have very real enemies abroad. We also have vital and indispensable allies. I want to support a presidential candidate who understands and appreciates the difference. I believe in our constitutional system and in the rule of law, and I want to support a candidate who respects the will of the voters and would never attempt to use the powers of the presidency to overturn an election after having been turned out by the voters. Finally, I want to support a presidential candidate who seeks to unite our country rather than one who divides us. One who represents the ideals of a new generation of leadership based not on grievances of the past, but hope for the future. For all of these reasons, I'll be supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president. I've served with Kamala in the United States Senate. I've also served with Tim in the United States House of Representatives. I know them. I know firsthand of their fine character and their love of country. I would encourage all Republicans who feel this way to do the same. After all, in times like these, there is nothing more conservative than putting country over party.
Well, folks, tell me what you think. Share your story in the comment below. If you have a story like one of these, or friend, family member, coworker, colleague, whoever, please share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 4 million subscribers. Have a great day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.